So a little over 2 weeks ago, I posted a video titled "These new R6 ops are insane," and let's just say there were hundreds of comments of your guys' operator ideas, and I decided to make a part 2. If you guys haven't watched part 1, you guys should go watch it. It was pretty good. By pretty good, I mean very good. So good that we're now doing another one, I guess. So here we go. If you guys want to see some more videos like this, they take a long time to do. So I don't know, 1,700 likes. That's a very high like goal, but I'm positive we could reach it. Also, if you want a part 3, be sure to comment down below an operator idea. All you need is a name, origin, gadget, primary weapons, and secondary weapons. And that's it. That's all you need to do to partake in these videos. But let's break down these operator ideas. Luckily, my beautiful editor Sissy compiled me a list of the top 10 ones in his opinion, and I am going to read them. I have no idea what we're getting into, so hopefully these are some pretty good damn bangers. Starting off with the first one, from Cluttered. Name of the operator, Pyre. Origin, USA, Texas. Oh my god. We're about to have a Texan, brother. Gadget, underbarrel napalm thrower, able to burn soft walls and a large area quickly. In brackets, like a mix of Maverick and Buck. That's, first of all, that's a crazy combo already. This can burn down floors from above to let the napalm drip down into defenders and burn them and make holes through all soft floors below. Or at the ceiling to directly burn those above the ceiling. The damage is similar to Goyo. Counters are Tubarão, which negates damage, but also negates any of the usual Tubarão effects. Now, before I get to anything else, I'm just going to talk about the gadget real quick. First of all, this just sounds like what should be a rework for Capitão. Capitão is extremely, and I genuinely mean extremely underwhelming. He's not a bad operator whatsoever, but very lackluster. I like the idea that he has smokes and fire, but is never really put into a safe situation where he can use either or. This pretty much just seems like a vertical version of Capitão, where he could just shoot a floor from below or above and get the napalm in a certain corner very easily rather than putting himself at risk. I like this idea. I also like the fact that it's considered an underbarrel. The one thing that sucks about Capitão, and I'm gonna keep comparing this to Capitão because I think Pyre would technically be a better Capitão or still the rework, is the fact that you have to pull out his crossbow, which obviously makes you very vulnerable. And that's why I like the comparison to Buck. The good thing about Buck is you could literally, in the split of a half a second, swap from your shotgun back to your AR. I'm assuming the speed with this would be very similar. Just swap from your napalm thrower back to your AR or DMR. I'm actually a very big fan of this gadget. Before I judge any further, let's now rate the weapons. First weapon, the C8 SFW. Okay, that's literally Buck's AR. That's perfect. I love that gun. I think it should be the Pyre, because I, again, think it should just be a Capitão rework, but I am a big fan of the weapons. And the M5902, I believe that's a shotgun. Is it Muse shotgun? I could be mistaken. Sissy, correct me if I'm wrong. Secondaries, the 5.7 USG and the M45 Ash's pistols. I like this. The one thing that I like about this is the balance in weapons. Last time we had a list where everybody had a secondary SMG or a secondary shotty. This one has a fairly balanced one. You either have the option to run a shotgun or the C8, but you don't get anything more than that. If that was the case, this character, in terms of loadout, would be fucking broken. He also gave us some lore. During childhood, his college was attacked in an arson terrorist attack, suffering severe burns, so he usually hides his face. First of all, dope as fuck. I love this. As well as the fact that the air burns his skin. Because of this, he has always hated terrorists and the people in general. So, he learned chemistry to fight fire with fire, and he developed the NP235L. An underbarrel napalm launcher. Bro, the lore actually is tough. Wait, hold on. Cluttered, this is actually such a cool... I love this. I love lore. The fact that you could say fight fire with fire is just so gangster in my opinion. This lore alone, in my opinion, is like a 10 out of 10. And I love it. A lot of the lore in this game is just lame as fuck, so I actually like the thought process that someone actually made lore for a character. Speed and armor, 2-2, perfect. And the appearance is similar to a TF2 Pyro and a Red Lion. Okay, I love TF2. So the fact that he just completely compared it to TF2 Pyro is actually awesome. Pyro actually looks very similar to Smoke. So it essentially would just be an attack Smoke. I'm not gonna lie, I love this idea. There's nothing about this character that seems broken, and I can actually see it being used in ranked as well as like future pro league. I'm already gonna start off this entire video with with a 10 out of 10. He cooked on the gadget. He cooked on the weapons in terms of being balanced. He definitely cooked on the lore, and everything else just very, very well broken down. We rate Pyre a 10 out of 10. Next up is from Roosker. Says he's a game dev. Name of the operator, Gaze. Nationality, Italian. Age, 28. Team, attacker, 2 speed, 2 armor, 1 difficulty. Loadout, primaries, AR-15.50, which I'm pretty sure is Maverick's AR, and the C8 SFW. Everyone loves the C8, so I'm actually glad that people are starting to put C8s on other characters, because we only have it for buck. Secondaries is a Gone 6 and the LFP 586. I actually don't know what weapon that is. I'm going to assume it's one weird pistol, but the Gone 6 is a really cool addition. Gadgets, flashbangs, and smoke grenades. In other words, Aruni Gate counters. Ability, the Spectra drones. Hold on, that's a cool ass name. Description, Gaze deploys a drone, an autopilot that goes in a straight line. If this drone collides against a wall, it bounces off of it and follows a straight line in the direction of the bounce. If an enemy steps into the Spectre drone sight, the drone stops on its tracks and looks at the enemy, then puts a live ping on them. Oh my god, this is essentially just a lazy automatic drone. What the fuck? This is so cool. Details. If the enemy shoots the drone, the live ping disappears. If the enemy steps out of the drone sight, the drone stops pinging them and resumes its previous path until it finds another enemy. This drone can't be used as a camera. This drone can go up and down stairs. It can only ping 1 enemy at a time. Gaze carries 3 Spectre drones, and the drone's sight range is a cone that has a range of 5 meters. Going off of this already, I'm a fan of this. God damn, you guys cooked. The reason why I like this is that you're also not allowed to get on the drone, because having 3 additional drones would be crazy, especially in an Intel based game. But I also do love the fact that this is pretty much a quick, lazy drone for you, especially if you're like in a 1v1 situation or any situation where you just want to clear by yourself. You don't have to depend on your team, and you don't have to put yourself at risk by getting on your own drone. Pretty goddamn good. But now let's get into the counters. Alibi. The drone will lock onto alibi clones if spotted, pinging them as an actual enemy. That is a W counter. It actually makes sense and actually unironically buffs alibi. Mozzie. If hacked, the drone will turn on the defenders and work the same way. That's so cool. A Mozzie would actually essentially just make this character betray its creator. Vigil. The drone won't spot Vigil while his ability is activated. Using his ability after being spotted by the drone will stop the tracking. You know, seems fair. I understand that. Any anti-utility operator, such as Mute, Maestro, or Solus, or bulletproof cameras, deactivating the drone with the EMP blast will cause it to turn off momentarily. Oh, so it's not like a permanent thing. I do appreciate this. I'm also noticing this. We're 2 for 2 on attackers. This is the second attacker we have. The one thing I genuinely like about this is that the counters are actually making sense. I also like how Alibi, for once and forever, actually has a solid counter idea. The fact that a drone would pretty much just break down over an Alibi clone makes sense. How is the drone supposed to know if it's a real person or not? It's pretty calm. And I also like the idea that it can only ping 1 person. So if there's 2 roamers, you might get cooked. Or 2 people in the same room, you will get cooked. So it's not broken where you can clear an entire room of everybody that's in it. 3 drones, in my opinion, sound very excessive. I think it should be 2, because 3 of any gadgets has always seemed to just kind of broken shit in Siege. For example, having 3 impacts on Zofia or 4 concussion grenades on Zofia is a wild thing to have. Having 3 Twitch drones would be crazy. I feel like 3 is just too much. 2 is like the balance. But then again, this is a main ability, so I can kind of understand it. It pretty much just seems like another roam clear, like another Jackal or another Dokkaebi, and I feel like this is more tended for solo queue players, so I do appreciate this. If I had to rate this character, I'm probably going to rate it a 9 out of 10. The only reason why I say that is I just think it should go from 3 drones to 2. I think 3 is like kind of overdoing it. But I also want to know if you could pick up the drone, or does it just stop? There's so much I want to know about this character, but it has high potential, and I would love for this to actually be in the game. If we ever do get a Siege 2, Ubisoft, this character needs to be on release. Going on to the next character. Sent by, how the fuck do you pronounce this name? Komain Tensfingsik. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this name. So here's a clip of Sissy trying to pronounce it for me. Sissy, good luck. I have no idea what to do.
Comaintensphinksilk. Comaintensphinksilk. Comaintensphinksilk 9173.
The name, Dire. Ooh, first of all, these names are tough. Like, I love when you guys cook up some really cool names. It's not corny, there's just a strong, solid one-word name. Origin, from Turkey, very different. I also like the diversity. We've had an Italian, a Texan, and now we have a man or female from Turkey. Position, attacker, another attacker. We're 3 for 3 for attackers. People love to make attackers, I'm noticing. Primary, SR25. I believe that's Blackbeard's DMR as well as Flores' DMR. If that's the case, I love this gun. And the M762. Is that Sophia's AR? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, you know, it is what it is. I'm really bad with names. Secondaries, PMM. Probably the best pistol in the game. That thing does an insane amount of damage, as well as the ITA-12S, which is, I'm positive, Mira's secondary shotgun. First of all, before we go into primary gadgets, another solid loadout. I really wish that we had people creating loadouts of guns that aren't even in Siege yet, but we also have seen a theme where Ubisoft tends to reuse weapons, so I do also understand this. And in this case, it doesn't even seem broken. I like this. It's pretty much balanced weapons. None of these weapons are crazy. If anything, the last two operators having the C8 is kind of crazy. But let's get into the primary gadget. The AD-20 Howler Mine. That's a fucking cool name. It is a throwable that sticks to any surface that emits loud sound. The main purpose of the gadget is to mask attacker sounds, gunshots, explosions, footsteps, etc. Also, anyone in the direct vicinity of the deployed gadget can't hear anything until they get out of the area. The attacker has 3 and they can be activated remotely, like a dread mine. Ooh, that's interesting. The sound lasts for 10 seconds. Secondary gadgets is breaching charges or hard breach charges. Oh my god, this is interesting. It's kind of sounding like a decoy grenade from like Call of Duty, and I've actually noticed in BO6 as well as Modern Warfare 3 that the decoy grenades, if you were to throw them, it would only use gun sound effects from weapons that are in the lobby, which I find very cool. By loud noises, I'm assuming it's just gonna be like straight up like fucking you cannot hear anything, just like screeching, like a loud beep. I don't know what the hell a loud screech would sound. I do like this idea. 3 is kind of crazy, but I do like the fact that you can activate them whenever. The way I see this character being played is for more like planting situation, like a quick plant. For example, I like to break it down. Whenever you're playing border on attack and you're pushing archives and armory, everyone knows the common rush where everyone rushes archives door with a Monty glass and all that shit. I feel like if you were to do that rush but bring this character, you would mask the sound of the person planting. But I also do like the fact that it's a vicinity thing, so you have to put it in a spot that defenders can't hear. I do like the fact that it's not broken in the sense where it also affects attackers. So if anyone's in it, you're just not going to be able to hear shit. In a game like Siege that consists of nothing but audio and intel, if you take away one of those key elements, it's a very big hindrance. I like this operator. I don't think it's broken or crazy. I feel like it should be more of like a safe gadget. But what I mean by this, instead of like throwing or deploying this gadget, you have like, for example, Grimm's grenade launcher. You shoot this thing as like a projectile and you can activate it whenever. If I had to rate this character, I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10. The only reason why it's not any higher is because I'm just trying to think of situations where this character would be insane, and I really can't think of any. You wouldn't be able to use it as like a flank watch because the only person that can hear it is the person within its vicinity, so no one else is going to hear this sound if you're flanking. It's not going to act like a proxy alarm. So I think 7 out of 10 is a fair rating. I do like this character though. But we are on to the next one, and this one's from Swaddle4801. Name, Hell, Jesus Christ, this name, just Hel, just straight up hell. Please be a defender. We've had nothing but attackers. Origin, Uppsala, Sweden. I think I pronounced that wrong. I'm so sorry. Fenrir's sister in Nordic mythology. Ooh, so there actually is like, this is kind of tough. Hell, is it like Helga, or is it just straight up hell? Is it hell or Helga? I'm reading hell. I could be wrong. Sissy may have meant to say Helga, but it's okay. I do like the comparison to Fenrir's sister in Nordic mythology, and the fact that we have an operator named Fenrir makes me think that this would be Fenrir's actual sister. Loadout. Primary is the AR-33, a fairly balanced assault rifle. I do appreciate that. Jackal's AR. He said, don't remember the name. Don't worry, brother. I don't either. But one fairly balanced AR and one really good AR. Already appreciating the loadout choice. Secondary, SMG-11 or PMM. Oh, another PMM user. People really don't show any love to the PMM. I love the PMM. SMG-11. This is the first time we actually had a secondary SMG for this video. I love that. No secondary shotgun, so it's nothing crazy broken. And having an assault rifle and an SMG-11 is kind of crazy. It gives me Sledge vibes. I'm very surprised he didn't pick a shotgun primary, because a shotgun primary with an SMG-11 would be crazy. Now, I'm going to assume by the loadout that this character is an attacker. But here's the ability. Hellburner. Ability works similar to Thermite, except it can burn through the metal beams in a soft floor, creating a makeshift hatch. Oh my god, I have been wanting something like this in Siege, but the problem with this is this character would be broken as fuck. Think about it. You pretty much can make an entry point anywhere on the map as long as it's metal beams. So imagine you're playing theme park. You're playing armory downstairs and you're just sitting in the fireplace and you just see right above you a fucking hatch being created. You literally won't be able to play that side of the map. This map is already, I mean, I get it is technically more defender favored, but this specific half of armory is a lot harder to defend. Throne side's a lot easier to defend. So if you just have hell play above and just create this makeshift hatch, you literally can't play this side of the map. Imagine pairing this with like a Blackbeard or like a Fuse. You fuse below, clear below, and then you run Helga, and then you run Hell to create the hatch, and then Blackbeard peeks the hatch. You literally don't even have to get Yellow Wall. If you really think about it, all you have to do is get split hatch and then create your own hatch, and you could just play vertical and you don't have to worry about getting Yellow Wall on theme park. Just using this one site example is why I believe this character would already be broken. I haven't even gotten into the secondary gadgets. The secondary gadgets are Claymores for flank watch and Smokes for plant. 2 armor, 2 speed. Might be interesting if they're on defense. Ooh. This would be interesting on defense. Creating your own makeshift hatch. It wouldn't really work as well on defense. There's really no point in doing it on defense unless you're like roaming, which would just create another route. Ooh, it could be like, it can kind of work, I could see. Like you're roaming upstairs in bank and you just hide this hell hatch, I guess, in some random corner. And whenever you want to rotate, you could just drop this hatch. I more or less see it more as an attacker. And if I had to rate this character, it is a crazy cool idea, but it is very unrealistic to have in this game. And just by me breaking down one site, which is arguably the easiest site to defend on Siege, making this very OP site irrelevant just proves that this character cannot exist in Siege. So for that sake, unfortunately, I do love the idea and it would be really cool in casual play, but in terms of ranked and competitiveness, I'm gonna have to rate it like a 3 out of 10. In terms of creativeness, a 10 out of 10, but overall, 3 out of 10. It's just too broken. I'm sorry. On to the next one. Please be a defender. For fuck's sake, I just want a defender. Before I even get to the name, he says, this might replace claymores, almost like a ghost claymore. Name, Spade. First of all, W name. I literally just think of fucking playing cards, of course. We have Ace and Spade. This is already cool. It'd be really cool if this character's already in the same faction as Ace. Ability, spurs that he keeps on the heel of his boot. These are throwable. First of all, what the fuck? What? These are throwables that can be thrown at enemies or stuck to floors. The spurs trap enemies, causing them to self-revive like a frost mat. After the spur is removed, the affected defender will limp for 15 seconds. These spurs are breakable with 1 bullet, but are hard to spot. So, is this a defender or an attacker? I'm gonna make the assumption that it's an attacker because it says this might replace claymores. So off of that one, I'm just gonna make the assumption that this is an attacker. And if that's the case, this is pretty much an attacker for flank watch or like stairs that pretty much have mobile, quick placing frost mats. This is kind of insane. I do like the fact that you get 15 seconds where you're slow, so not like Frost where if you hit one you're literally done for the rest of the game. So I do appreciate that, but off the sound of this is kind of broken. It's like you throw it at an enemy is crazy, but it sounds like it's a fucking crazy trap that you literally just can't even spot and it would down somebody. Now I wonder, he didn't say it damages the person, so I wonder if it forces to self-revive. Does it do a lot of damage, or are you just kind of like hindered, like you kind of like slipped? I guess that's the idea. I'm trying to wonder, but even if that's the case, this idea is already kind of crazy. This operator is a 3-speed, 1 armor. First of all, the first time we've seen a 3-speed, 1 armor in this type of video. Primary is the Supernova or the PDW-9. I have no idea what the PDW-9 is. You guys do because it's on your screen. Secondary is the 44 mag semi-auto. Okay, pretty solid secondary. Backstory, Spade was a sheriff who is now a bounty hunter looking for the man who killed his wife. Okay, so I'm gonna make the assumption that the person that killed his wife is like a terrorist and hence why he's in Rainbow. Or is he something like Deimos, who's kind of just a rogue person? Going off of the theme of this character, it's like a Midwestern, like a sheriff. The name is Spade. You literally take off spurs as a trap. I like this theme. Creativeness is a 10 out of 10. In terms of me seeing how this character would be played, even if it was a defender or an attacker, again, making the assumption that it's an attacker, this seems kind of crazy. The fact that you won't be able to see these spurs, it's very hard to see, as he stated, makes it seem like a crazy thing to worry about. And again, I always try to picture a scenario for you guys where you guys can kind of envision this character kind of being bullshit. For example, let's say you're attacking upstairs of cafe, the 3rd floor. You're doing a red hatch take. All you have to do is throw a spur on red stairs, and the person that flanks, once they come up that staircase, they're gonna hit the spur and get injured. Pretty much a free kill, which is just crazy. Now, the one thing I would believe that would make this somewhat balanced is if it kind of acted like a thorn trap, where it had a timer. So it's not like an instant, like a Legion Mine is instant. Whereas like a thorn trap, if you get in the vicinity, it's gonna start a timer. This I could then see actually being fairly balanced. But if it's just straight up instant, and from what it sounds like it is, considering you could throw it at people like a fucking knife, it just seems broken. Not broken like the other character, but broken in the sense where I would probably ban this character. If I had to rate this operator, I like the idea, but I'm gonna give it like a 5 out of 10. And that's because it just doesn't have too much more elaborated. I wish there was more detail. I wish I knew how the gadget would work. Off the rip, I do love this idea. And I think if it acted like a thorn trap, it would be pretty cool. Next submission from Seismix 3.14. Name Medusa, primary MP7, which is quite obviously one of the most balanced SMGs in the game. I love this SMG. And my favorite shotgun being the Spaz 12. Secondary, USP, and the Kratos. Love these pistols. I do appreciate that he's not using secondary shotties or secondary SMGs, creating a sense of balance. Loadout already is like a 10 out of 10 in terms of balance. Origin, Cypress, Work, Attack. Ability, Eye of Gorgon. I know for damn sure he got this name. The name is Eye of Gorgon. I just think of the Gorgons from Vault of Glass of Destiny. If you guys don't know what that shit is, a Gorgon is, this is what it looks like. Look on your screen right now. This is what a Gorgon looks like. And pretty much once it sees you, you pretty much die. So I'm gonna make the assumption is that he pretty much just got this idea from Destiny. I bet you this person was a Destiny player off rip. When you use the Eye of Gorgon, the enemies must move or they will be exposed, opposite of Lion ability. Oh, god damn. It's pretty much gives me a sensor from Call of Duty vibes or like a threat detector from Halo Infinite, where if someone's in the vicinity, it pretty much just pings them or outlines them. Now I wonder, when it says exposed, is it something like Kavera? Because Kavera technically exposes the enemies and you pretty much see the icon on their head. But then he makes the comparison to Lion's ability. Or opposite to Lion's ability? I don't get what that means. Opposite to Lion's ability. I don't know what he means by that, but make whatever assumption in your head about it. Again, this just kind of seems like another flank watch or like a roam canceling type operator for attack. And I kind of like it. It's nothing crazy, like it's not going to kill the person, but if someone's flanking, you're pretty much just going to get cooked. So it's not like a gridlock where you could take damage to the tracks, or a nomad where it pretty much just stuns the hell out of you. This one just straight up pings. It's pretty much like a flank watch drone by yourself is what it really sounds like. But I really wonder if it's gonna ping them or expose them like Cav's ability. Now, if I had to think of a counter, first thing that comes to mind is Vigil. Vigil clearly just puts on his ability, not going to be sensed. Now I wonder, because when you use, if it's like a motion sensor or if it's like a actual like a visual thing, if Cav would also be a counter. Let's just say for the sake of this, Cav and Vigil are the two hard counters for this character. Those are two really good counters. I kind of like this. I can see this being used. It doesn't seem broken. The loadout's balanced. The name is cool. So that's The name is Medusa. Like, that name is awesome. You can already picture what the Medusa logo would look like. It would just be a fucking snakehead ass woman. I don't even know. If I had to rate this, I like this. It's not broken crazy. I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. I think this is like an 8 out of 10 operator. I wish there was more detail. Unfortunately, Seismics did not really break this character too much down, so I try to break it down more as I can, but I really am not that creative, so I apologize. Moving on to the next. Fracture Origin Turkey. Ooh, another Turkey operator. 1 speed, 3 armor. Chunky ass bitch. First time we actually seen a chunky operator within these custom operators. I love it. Defender. Thank God. Oh my God. Like, thank you. Loadout. MPT 76SH. I have no idea what that weapon is. Hey, let me go to the game. Is this Scopos gun? Is this Scopos' weapon? Nope, I have no idea. This could be a new weapon. I don't know what this one is. And the Artemis Art 1012. I've never heard of these weapons. I think these are genuinely new weapons. I love this. Secondary SAR-9 with a scope like Warden Ellis pistol. So these are all custom weapons. Hold on, this man cooked the loadout. I have no idea what guns these are. So I have no idea how to rate this. But gadgets are proxy alarm and deployable shield. Already has 2 insanely good gadgets for a defender. Loadout, it's really hard to rate, but I'm noticing that we're having a defender with an assault rifle, so that's already crazy. Ability. Fracture has an exo arm that he uses to send tremors to walls and floors. The exo arm contains 200 points of tremor, which can be used to collapse structures. To use this gadget, Fracture must physically connect the exo arm to the wall or floor, similar to how Fuse deploys his charge, but while using it, he must stay connected the entire duration. The player has 2 options to adjust the tremor's power: increasing or decreasing the points by increments of 25. Similar to how Habana's gadget works. So I'm assuming when he says this, like how she can control how many pellets she shoots. So I'm assuming that's what he means by comparing this. So I already like that. That's a really cool detail. When placed on a floor, the tremors disorient and collapse even hard surfaces, with the size of the collapse depending on the charge used. When used on a hard wall, a fixed amount of 75 points is used, causing the entire wall to collapse, not just a portion. What the fuck is this character? I just think of Tremor from Mortal Kombat. So it just seems like Oryx on crack. Just going off of my assumption, it seems like a mix of Lion and Oryx. And I say Lion, I mean by like how when like that earthquake shit happened when he first released is what it kind of seems like. But he could break walls as a like, what's the point of this? I don't really understand the point of this. Restriction. The ability cannot be used on the floors near the bomb site if the site has a floor below. The ability cannot be used on outer walls, can collapse balconies or similar exterior areas, denying access to the enemies. The ability does not work on floors with no underlying level or on walls leading to nowhere. The ability cannot be used on diagonal surfaces, building foundations, or structural elements like columns, stairs, etc. The thing that's confusing me is this a character that can break like just walls in general? Like not a soft wall, but hard walls. I'm assuming he means by like a legit wall that has never been unbreakable until now. If that's the case, that is insane and would just create so much cool strats. If that's what I'm getting from this, and that's really is what I'm kind of coming to the conclusion of, is that he could break hard walls, this is an insane game-changing operator. So he pretty much would be the most useful operator in the prep phase, where he could just open up shit to either make the defenders hold better or just mess up an attacker's push. I'm gonna go off of the notion that that's what he means, is you could break hard walls, because there would be no point in just breaking soft walls. That doesn't make any sense to me. God damn. Now, how many times can he use this? I'm assuming like once, or like 1 or 2 walls makes sense. You could literally create insane like mirror strats with this character if that's the case. Just open up a wall that's never been able to be broken before and just create some type of strat around it, whether it's castle or mirror. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really bad at trying to break this character down. There was a lot to kind of like read on this, but I'm gonna make the assumption that that's what this is. And if that's the case, this is like an 8 out of 10 idea to me, because this would make the game like fun. In terms of competitiveness, I have no idea how this would work, but it might kind of go towards defender sided, because essentially you're being able to forge a map into whatever you want. Yeah, I don't know. I do like this idea if it's the correct idea that I just constructed in my mind. You guys can correct me down below, but I'm very slow. We're getting close to the end of the video, so we only have 2 more ideas. Next up from I Got Shit On. That is definitely what he meant by the name. Name, Lupin. Cool ass name. Origin, France. Oh fuck. We have more Twitch and Monties. Ability. Once people die, you can steal their ability and weapons, but only have the same amount of charges and ammo of the person that died. Oh my god. So yeah, this could literally work for a defender or an attacker. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is definitely more of a defender operator, because most people on defense already have their utility already like down and up. So if you were to like kill an attacker and take their utility, that would be kind of crazy. What this essentially seems to be is a mimic, and you pretty much just take the role of the person that you... I love this idea. It doesn't even seem broken. It just kind of depends on what character that you kill that would make this useful. Can you imagine killing a Monty and you take Monty's ability or even a Blitz's ability and use it as a defender? That would be insane. Weapons, just give him whatever, doesn't really matter. He'll get new weapons anyway. Okay, so yeah, it's essentially just a mimic. This is just a mimic operator. P.S. He could even steal teammates' abilities once they're dead from their bodies, and Tubarão should get a buff to where he can freeze the diffuser to give more time to defuse. I like how I just put that P.S. I do love that idea. I think that would be a crazy buff to Tubarão, and I'm okay with it. Be very situational, but we're getting sidetracked. I don't even know, this character really wouldn't have counters. Like, if you really think about it, this character has no counters, because it just depends on if this guy can kill somebody would make him useful. Can you imagine you killed a Blackbeard and you just took his second shield after you obviously destroyed the first one? Because he did say if you kill somebody that already used their ability, that you would only get what's left. Yeah, this character is insane. It doesn't even seem broken. It seems very situational. Like, I don't know how this would work. Like, because if you kill an Ashe, you just take her Ashe charge. The thing I like is the fact that he said you could take a teammate's role. So let's say your bandit who's bandit tricking dies, you could take his role and then continue to bandit trick. I love this. I think it's more useful to take a teammate's role, but at the same time, it just seems very situational. Like, I can't really think of too many scenarios where this is crazy. If I know this character is existing on the other team, I'm gonna swap attackers to kind of make this character very useless. Like, so if I'm playing Blitz and I see this person, I'm just gonna like straight up swap off a Blitz, because I do not want a defender Blitz. I also assume the way this character's gadget would work would be very similar to, you guys know when you kill somebody and their icon is just like on the floor, like you see where they died. I'm assuming you have to be in vicinity, like you have to walk up to it and just take their identity, similar to how Dokubi has to take your phone in order to get cameras. I like this idea. I really do. I like how it's a defender. I don't know how it would really work, and for that, I'm just gonna rate it a 6 out of 10, but I do like the creativeness. And we're on to the last one. From the Lunchtime Pod S7H. Name, Nim. That's arguably the most lame name we've had so far, but it's just basic. Weapon, a 243 caliber DMR or knock SMG. Okay, interesting primary choice. Secondary is the 1911 pistol or Glock 19. Do we even have a Glock 19? I don't even think we have a Glock 19 in this game. Orientation defense. I'm thank God, because we ending with so many more defenders. We started off with so many attackers. I love how we're starting to end with defenders. Ability has 3 throwables, which when thrown unleashes a non-lethal goo, which is just super sticky and slows down operators as if they were walking in barbed wire, and doesn't go away unless they do a 5-second animation or if they walk or run long enough. Okay. Gadget, C4 or a BP camera. 2 health, 3 speed, 1 armor. What the fuck does that, how does that work? I'm just gonna say 3 speed, 1 armor, because the 2 health part doesn't really make any sense to me. Okay, so essentially, this just seems like a Melusi. It really just sounds like a Melusi, but a slower Melusi, like you just kind of get stuck. I can see this being very useful. The thing about Melusi is Melusi gets countered by operators with anything explosive, Brava, a bullet, punching it. I really don't know how you counter this one character. maybe a Maverick would counter this. You would just burn the goo away. That'd be a really cool one. You wouldn't be able to explode a goo. That part doesn't make any sense, I'll be honest. This character seems like a defender that doesn't really have too many counters. It just seems like very overpowered barbed wire that just doesn't do any damage to you. It's a mix of barbed wire and a slower Medusa trap. I like it. It doesn't seem broken. Like, I actually kind of rock with this. Weirdly enough, I would see this operator being useful. I'm assuming it would also be an ability that also affects defenders. So it's like, even though it has no counters, it has the possibility to sabotage your team. So that's how I'm going to look at it. I like this. This is a 9 out of 10. I like this idea. This is a cool operator idea. An operator that has no counters, but also can greatly affect you and your own team. I love it. Honestly, after reading all these ideas, I have to say, you guys are low-key some game devs. These are some banger ideas. Obviously, there was a few that I was just kind of questionable, but for the most part, it was very good. I liked it. If you guys want a part 3, I guess comment down below your own operator idea. I already said in the beginning what you need to do to be in the next video, what you need to comment, how to organize it, and just have fun with it, man. Something that could be fun, something could be broken, or something that could genuinely make the game great. Again, 1,700 likes on the video, and it would help us out. Anyway, let's cue the outro music.
I'm about to say all the wire. You know I love a tight. She got the buns I admire. I'm at the butt, I bet you call. I'm about to say all the wire. You know I love a tight. I can go to her ass like a tire. She like Poppy on fire. She like Poppy on fire.
We gon' have to help you away. You got a gun, nigga. Me too. Buddy go what? Buddy go. Got buddy go.